fans of Adam and Ryan, your coaches have asked me, Flavia Del Monte, to give you my insider secrets on working the core. So I first want to start off by explaining to you what exercise really is. Exercise simply is your body challenge. It doesn't necessarily have to be with movement. I'm going to teach you how to selectively recruit each abdominal muscle so that you can ensure that you are getting the most out of your abdominal workout. So we're going to start by doing absolutely no movement. We're just going to really focus on engaging the abdominal muscle. If you can't engage your abdominals without movement, how are you going to engage them properly with movement? Now, exercise starts on the inside, so it's very important that you intentionally think of every single muscle that you're working and make sure that you are recruiting the right muscle that you're trying to work. So we see this a lot in all the variations of push-ups. You know, if you push your hands out as you're doing a push-up, you're going to be working a lot of your rear delts. The same kind of concept goes as your abdominals. We're going to really strategically engage every single abdominal muscle in your core. So we're going to start off on the floor. This is called a camel. And without movement, we're going to have a really killer workout. So this is the start. Just going to get on all fours here. Pushing your tummy all the way up to the ceiling. We want to make our stomach as thin as possible. And the intention here is shortening up your abdominals as short as they possibly will go. So we're going to focus on shoving our hands down towards our knees and our knees up towards our hands. And we're going to hold that for 6 seconds. Now give this a try. I know that this seems really simple, but it's actually incredibly effective. So go ahead and try this as I go. So we're gonna thin out our stomach, pushing our navels right up to the ceiling, and then we're gonna pull our hands towards our knees and our knees towards our hands, and we're gonna hold that for 6 seconds, blowing out all the air so that we make the stomach as thin as possible. And then we're going to release. Let's try that again. Thinning out the stomach, shoving our hands and knees together, exhaling, and release. Now you can really feel those working. So that was basically working the rectus abdominals. Did you feel those working? All right, so now we're gonna try to stimulate more of our oblique muscles. And the way that we do that is we're just gonna focus on one side of the body. So let's do our right side. We're gonna just shove our right hand and our right knee together and just doing the exact same technique and hold it for 6 seconds. And then we can move to the other side. All right, very good. So now now you can really feel what you should be feeling when you're doing all of your abdominal exercises. So the next exercise, we're gonna get on our back. Now your abdominals can only shorten a certain distance. So we're gonna find our pubic bone. We're gonna place a finger right above our pubic bone. Then we're gonna find our sternum. This is basically the amount that your abdominals can shorten. And the more shortened they are, the more you're working your abdominals, so the more effective the workout's gonna be. So without doing any single movement, any sort of movement whatsoever, I just want you to try to bring your sternum all the way down to your pubic bone. So you're gonna contract without moving. You want to blow out all of your air. And your fingers should be moving closer together. Now this takes quite a bit of practice. And then release, and again, you're gonna push your navel all the way to the floor, and you're gonna try to move your fingers towards each other without moving anything off the floor. And blowing out. Hold for 6 seconds, and then release. All right, so once we're actively recruiting the right muscles, now we're gonna try to add a sit-up onto it. So we're gonna always start our abdominal exercises the exact same way, trying to get those two parts of the body, the pubic bone and the sternum, to meet each other. And we're simply just gonna add a sit-up. So to begin, we're gonna try to get those together, pushing your stomach all the way to the floor, contracting your abdominals, blowing out all the air, and then you're simply gonna try to sit up, keeping those engaged and trying to further shorten your abdominals. Don't bring your neck up, keep your neck back the entire time. And all that you're focusing on is getting those fingers towards each other. You want to blow out all your air. And release. Now, if you're not doing this with me, it might seem very, very simple, but it is brutal. It is so hard to get even 3 sit-ups if you're doing it properly. So make sure that you really take the time to go over that technique over and over and over again. And then if you want to make it more challenging, you just simply add, 20 seconds up slowly and then 20 seconds down slowly, and they're killer. The first time that I did these, my stomach was sore the next day. So that's the beginning, and I'm going to take you through another 3 exercises on the stability ball. So now that we know how to properly engage our abdominal muscles, we're gonna head into some other exercises. Now the exercises that I showed you before, those can be standalone exercise, absolutely. But of course we want some variations, so I'm gonna show you 3 different exercises. Now the way that I work my core is I usually go pretty much to failure. I don't really have a certain rep range when I'm working them, just because I really want to fatigue my abdominals. They recover very, very quickly, so I challenge them probably about 5 times a week. So the first one, we're gonna be going into a plank. We're gonna engage all the core muscles. Now, as you probably know, the core is made up of like over 60 different muscles. There's tons, so we wanna make sure that we are hitting all of them when we're working our core. So we're going to be getting into a plank position. So we wanna have a straight line. You want to be able to draw a straight line from your head all the way down to your toes. You don't want to drop the hips, and you don't want to keep them too high up. So we just want a straight line. And then once you're comfortable doing this, we're just going to simply push this ball out and back in. Now, if this is too difficult for you, simply just drop your knees down and roll out as far as you can. Now, when you roll out, hold it for a second and then bring it back down. So hold, back in. This is very challenging. Make sure that you're keeping those abdominals tight the entire time so that you really protect your back. Then we're gonna come down to the floor. Okay, so the next exercise, we're gonna lay back down and incorporate, thinking about all the things that we were talking about in the first part of this exercise. We're gonna try to shorten our abdominal muscles. We're gonna do the exact same thing, only this time we're gonna hold the stability ball in between our feet. So we're gonna start without any tension, and we're just gonna do the exact same thing. Find your pubic bone, find your sternum, and try to bring your fingers in together, blowing out all your air. And now we want to keep that contraction there the whole time. And then we're simply gonna grab the ball and just rotate it, squeezing your inner thighs together. You can bring your head up so that you're making it more difficult. And you want to keep your legs nice and low. So by twisting, we're really working our obliques here, as well as the entire rectus abdominal, which is your 6-pack. Okay, good. And then the next one, we're gonna do the exact same contraction, trying to get our abdominal muscles as short as possible. And then we're simply just gonna drop the ball and catch it.
catch it, you want to hold it for a second. Good. You're actually working the inner thigh there as well.
So we can do all 3 of those exercises. You know, try for 10 each and increase as you go. Again, I usually do mine till I can't do anymore, but your goal is to start off with doing 3 sets of 10 for those exercises. All right, thanks Adam and Ryan, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.